Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session in Principles of Programming Languages. Today we'll be going to learn about the next topic of 4th unit, that is abstract data types in C++. So basically we were talking about a concept of abstraction. So abstraction is being provided in few languages as per the discussion in the previous videos. So those languages are what? Ada and C++, Objective-C and Java, Ruby. These are the programming languages which provide abstraction in their programs. So abstraction is what? It's a view or representation where we'll hide essential attributes and we'll give access, the control access specifiers we'll use to give access for the few persons, or to say for the few users. So this is what actually abstraction, and these languages will be going to discuss how data abstraction is provided, and that is provided in each language whatever I listed here. So in the last video we covered about Ada, now this video we'll see about the C++. So now coming to C++, there are two differences what we'll find from this slide. So we do have Ada, the reason why we are moving to C++, or else if you have a question to find out the difference in between Ada and C++, this slide will give you that clarity. Now C++ basically it's a partial object oriented programming. All the features of object oriented will not supported in C++, or else you can say C with some extension, C with object is called as C++. Now C++ basically have classes which are types. As stated previously, Ada packages are more generalized. So C++ will use classes to provide data abstraction, and Ada will have packages to provide data abstraction, the first difference. And the second is a program unit that gains visibility to an Ada package can access any of its public entities directly by their names. So here in C++ program unit that declares an instance of a class can also access any of the public entities in that class, right? But only through an instance of the class. This is the difference. So the first difference is what? C++ uses classes, Ada uses packages. Second difference is what? C++ will use access public entities through instance of the class, and Ada uses packages to give access or to get the access of public entities. The other difference is what? C++ will support only two access specifiers which are public and private. Ada supports 5 access specifiers which are public, private, protected, limited private and limited protected. These are what 3 differences in between C++ abstract data types and Ada abstract data types. Now let's move into the next thing. So how C++ will provide data abstraction? There are 2 parameters to provide data abstraction in each programming languages. The first is what? Encapsulation. Second is what? Information hiding. Ada encapsulation through packages, C++ encapsulation through classes. Ada information hiding through 5 access specifiers, C++ information hiding through 2 access specifiers. Now let's learn in deep how these classes will get instantiated and how the objects will get created. That part we'll see. Now the data defined in a C++ class are called data members. So who are data members? The member or the data which is defined inside of a C++ class. Now let's say I am taking a class that is what? Student. I am taking a student class. So this will start with the name of class. Now whatever data I defined inside of this class, that will be data members. Data, let's say it is roll number is equal to some 5. Now roll number will be a data. Fine. Now that will be called as data members. And the functions or methods defined in a class are called member functions. That means roll number is equal to 5 I am considering as data, and if I wanted to define any kind of function inside, so basically student will have some functions which are attending some seminar. So I am defining this word seminar with the function. Now data is defined as data member, function is defined as member function, and both the things will get created or will get defined in the inside of the class. Fine. Now, so I'll write neatly this class some student. The data is what? Int roll number is the data, and void some yes. Now this is what the point what we covered in the first. So class will contain of data members and member functions. Now come down. Data members and member functions appear in two categories, class and instance. Class members are associated with the class. Instance members are associated with the instance of the class. Now class instances can be static, stack dynamic and heap dynamic. We would covered this point in the third unit, how many types a variable can be instantiated in a subprogram. As far as C++ is considered, we will be taking classes. So as I mentioned a point clearly, that class will consist of a data member. This member I am creating with the data type, right? So I can call this as a variable. Truly I can call this as a variable. As I am putting this variable inside of a class, the definition has changed and we were calling with the name of data member. But truly speaking, this is what a variable. So generally variable will get instantiated with the three kind of things, which are static, stack dynamic and heap dynamic. If they are concerned to a value, then we say it is static and stack dynamic. If they are concerned to a pointer, then we say it is heap dynamic. Now, so these three ways you can create a variable inside of a program. Now, information hiding is what? A C++ class can contain both hidden and visible entities, meaning they have either hidden from or visible to clients of the class. Entities that are to be hidden are placed in the private class, and visible or public entities appear in the public class. So information hiding is being provided in C++ with two classes, public class and private class. Now we are going to look into the program which is about stack implementation. So the same example will be going to take in all 5 programming languages, whatever we listed in the beginning of the slide. So here the same example we will take, which is stack implementation in the programming languages, and you will be get to know how the stack implementation will be performed in each programming language provided with data abstraction. Right? So here we were discussed about one point, which is class will be having data members, perfect, will have data members and member functions. Now how the values will get initialized into that data members? That is what we'll use constructors. We'll use constructors and we'll use destructors. This question has been asked in the previous question papers for many times. So you can expect this question for short questions according to your end semester examination structure. Now let's look into constructors and destructors. So C++ allows the user to include constructor functions in the class, which are used to initialize the data members newly created objects. So what we'll do, we'll give a value of data member inside of a constructor. A constructor may also allocate the heap dynamic data that are referenced by the pointer members. That's what we covered just now. A variable which is creating in the data, in the class, that variable is called as data member. The data member can be belongs to static, stack dynamic, heap dynamic. If it is a heap dynamic, memory will get allocated according to the pointer data type. And constructors are implicitly called when an object of the class type is created. A constructor has the same name. Class name and the constructor name will be same name. You just keep in mind the points whatever we mentioned here, so that you can understand neatly when I am explaining about the program. As the class whose object it initializes. Constructors can be overloaded, but of course each constructor of a class must have a unique parameter profile. The destructor function for such an instance can include a delete operator on the pointer members to deallocate the heap space they reference. So we'll use this tilde operator for delete or deallocating the memory. We'll use that tilde operator in the program. Now let's look into the program how we will be implementing the stack operation. So I told that encapsulation in C++ will provided with the help of classes. So I am defining a class here. Now the class is what? Stack. Here we'll use two access specifiers according to the study previously, that the access specifiers private and public. So private class will take care of the entities whatever we were giving that will be hidden to the other users. Public class will contain the entities which are visible to the other users. Now which are visible here? Stack size is visible, and I'm just initializing the value of top sub is equal to -1. So what is hidden? Hidden is what? These variables are hidden. Int stack pointer, maximum length, top sub are hidden to the other users. Now, so this is what a destructor. Destructor will use tilde operator, which is of this operator is called as tilde operator, and stack and delete stack pointer. Whatsoever memory is created through constructor, that memory will get deallocated with the help of destructor. Now we were taking few functions to perform operations on the stack. So the operations are what? Push. So push is the operator, and the parameter of the push is what? Int number. So if top of the stack is reaches to maximum length, then error will come in push operation. It is natural, right? So when you are taking a stack, when the stack is filled with the maximum element, let's say the maximum element is 10. If top of the stack and maximum length are equal, then there won't be any place to push inside the element. So naturally we'll print C error message in the output screen, that will use error in push, stack is full. So this is what display state, error display message, C error, and else stack pointer plus top sub is equal to number. So if this condition will get failed, that means if top of the stack is not equal to maximum length of the stack, then that will giving an assurance that you have some space inside of the stack to place the element. Hence we'll push their number into the top of the stack. And the other function is pop function, and this function is what? When pop is empty, error message will be displayed, that error in pop, stack is empty. It's natural. When stack is empty, we could not able to delete any of the element, right? So when this condition is true, then we'll print this error message. When this condition fails, we'll come to else part and we'll delete the element. So deletion of element or popping the element is what? We'll just use this command, so that we'll coming to the next index. That's what we were decrementing the top of the stack. And top element is what? We were just displaying the top of the element. So if it is empty, then naturally it will be empty, so hence you cannot display the top of the stack. Else part will return the statement back which is top of the stack. So this is what the stack implementation program. Now the following is an example program that uses stack abstract class, and this is what stack abstract class. Now what we'll do here, void main, and we were calling the function which is stack push 17 or whatever element you can, you wanted to put here a parameter value or whichever you wanted to give, you can give this value so that this function will get called with the parameter of 17. So these are what the functions, right? STK is what? Instance of the class we created here. Create an instance of the stack class which is STK. STK is what? Instance of the class. Now through this class instance, I am calling this function, and for each operation we were using this reference class or reference object. So this is the way how we will implement the C++ program. And look at this one, this is what? Another kind of program, and this kind of program is what? We were taking the file inclusion. So stack.h is what? Header file for the stack class. We were using that thing here. The same thing you will be finding, that we wrote again class stack, and we'll keep the private statement, we'll keep the public access specifier, we'll do everything. And this is what we were including the stack.h just before we were seen, right? We were keeping all the functions in the folder which is, or in the file which is stack.h. Something like, I'll just clarify your questions before you get. So let's say that whatever functions I need, that push function and pop function top of the stack, I'm just putting all these functions into one file which is stack.h. And this file is going to have all these functions. Now what happens, right? So file inclusion method will get called here. Now I'll include only stack.h. Hence, whatever files I have included here, that all will get included in the stack.h. Hence, here I'll use your constructor, destructor to perform the functions. So here we were doing abstraction again. So prior the abstraction is what? We were taken class and instance of the class to implement the abstraction. The second program will show you abstraction is provided through the file inclusion. That's the difference. So this is about data abstraction in C++. Thank you all.